I think it's time that we sat down and finally did this VR to the lovely Lady Cara Tarot, and it is the Soul Deck Discovery. So it's about helping you say yes to the deck, but it's the decks in your collection. So let's get into the video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, I'm Men. Oh my gosh, I'm so well aware of the decks that are missing here. So I have a big empty space, but they are up here. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much to the lovely Lady Cara Tarot for tagging me in this tag. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking, and it feels like a hot minute since I've actually sat down and recorded because life has been lifing and we're just rolling with it. But thank you so much, Lady Cara, for tagging me in this, and I am so very sorry it is taking me quite some time to do my reaction or my video response. Is that what VR stands for? Or is it virtual response? Whichever, I'll go video response to this wonderful tag. And I had so much fun picking out decks. I have quite a lot actually here that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I had so many. I actually condensed it down because I didn't want to be too deck overwhelmed either at the same time. So myself and Jackie are going to go to the desk, which is like right behind you. It's not like it's a million miles away, and we're going to get straight into the video because, you know, there's nothing like just diving straight in, getting straight to the point, right? Okay, so we have flipped you guys around. We're at the desk and we're going to get straight into the prompts. So there are 9 prompts in this tag, and I really loved how thought-provoking this was. It wasn't just picking decks per prompt, which I love too, by the way, might I add. I really do enjoy that, but this was really about like condensing down and then finding out what your soul deck is. So she has tagged some lovely creators in Cara's video, in her own video, but I'll make sure to obviously tag Cara's original video and make sure to check out the other videos that she linked on about what is a soul deck, because I think a lot of us do in the community go, this is a soul deck and that's a soul deck, or you know, even another term that's used is workhorse deck. That's another video for another day. But soul decks, meaning for me anyway, personally, I'm sure everybody has like their own description of what a soul deck is, but it's just like this resonance straight off the bat. Or it could also be a deck that you kind of had to work with a small bit and then it just clicked, right? And it just everything made sense, and you couldn't imagine your collection or your practice or anything like that without this deck in it. That's personally what I think and what I feel like is a soul deck. It is really down to how it resonates with me, not just on like a surface level, but like a deep connection intuitively, and how it reads and how you interpret the cards and how the images may speak to you and so on and so forth. So I do apologize if I'm a little bit croaky. I'm still getting over the silly head cold that just seems to love hanging on, really, to be honest. But you guys are keeping me company and I'm having a great time talking about decks. So how could you not feel a little bit better about that? So let's get into the prompts. But before we get into the prompts, okay, you'll be creating 2 stacks. So potential soul decks and then definitely not my soul deck, right? So prompt number 1 is, which decks do you have 2 copies of? Are any of these your potential soul decks? And then of course, like if not, then we put them to the side. So I thought I only had 2 decks that I had 2 copies of. Now, I'm not mathematical, okay? My brain doesn't do well with numbers, I'll be brutally honest. I just tend to have like brain farts and it just doesn't work. But when I was picking out the decks, going, okay, I have 2 copies of those and I have 2 copies of those, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And then I went, man, you liar, you absolute liar, you have another deck, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the first one that came to mind straight away, and I bet most of you probably guessed it at this stage if you're here, a while. You'll be familiar with my favorite decks. But the first one I have 2 copies of, oh my goodness, I should have just taken it out of the box. Anyway, is the Starman Tarot. So this is the one by Red Feather. And it is, oh my gosh, what's the other one? It's Red Feather in conjunction with another, I can't think of it. Oh my gosh, my brain. I'm so sorry. But I also have the big Lo Scarabeo one as well. I believe that one. I'll be honest, I'm not going to reach for the box. It's on top of my bookshelf and it's too far away for me. Or it's too far away. Height-wise, it's too far away for me to reach. This is the big, tall edition. So these are the 2 that I have 2 copies of. I'll just quickly show you them side by side because I actually do want to do a full walkthrough. Oh my gosh, I don't even have all the cards from the Red Feather box. But anyway, so let me show you the backs. This is going to be so awkward. It feels like forever since I've recorded. But these are the backs. So this is the big one. This is the newest edition that's out. If you guys are interested in a side-by-side comparison, please do let me know. So that is the first one. So I'm going to definitely keep these ones for sure because, you know, are these potentially a soul deck? I would say so. Okay, do I have enough room on my desk? Probably not, and I have quite a big desk. The second one then that I actually have 2 copies of, oh no, this is getting difficult already and I'm only on the second pairing. Oh gosh, okay. Is, come on. The Rose Oracle. Okay, so, oh, sorry, that's so loud. That's the mini, and this is obviously the original full size. I'll just quickly show you the original full size, otherwise we're going to be here all day. These are the backs. This is by Rebecca Campbell, and it's a Hay House deck. It's lovely. I love the pinks and the purples and the blues and whatnot in this. This is more pink and blues. The mini, the pocket edition, same thing. And then I had to laugh because I was calling myself out. I was like, man, you liar. Here's you saying, no, they're the only 2 decks I have 2 copies of. And I wouldn't be one for multiple copies, I'll be honest. Starman Tarot, you couldn't stop me getting the other one. There was no way on this god-earthly world I was not getting the new edition of the Starman Tarot. I had to. It was genuinely, I just had to. So I picked that up. But the one that I was literally calling myself out and going, you're such a liar, man, is the Light Series. I have 2 copies of the Light Series as well. So I think all of us are familiar with this deck at this stage. But if you're not, in case you aren't, I'd be surprised. But, and the mini is, or the pocket edition is exactly the same. Is this a potential soul deck? I would say so. So I'm going to set these 2 aside as well. Cara, you've made this very difficult for me already. I'm only joking. I've made this difficult for myself. Okay, next prompt. So prompt number 2 then is decks you have 2 copies of, different versions, a precious copy and a work copy. Are any of these your soul or potential soul deck? Okay, so I would still say with the Light Series and the Starman Tarot, they're kind of the reason I got the pocket edition is because I like the idea of being able to do bigger spreads and having the smaller cards. So I suppose you could say this is more a work one. And this one was the first tarot deck I was gifted by Jamie. I know he'll be like, how do you remember this? I just do. I really do remember certain things so clearly. And then, of course, my Starman Tarot, this one would be my precious copy at this stage because, one, it's a limited edition one as far as I know. I don't think you can get the big ones anymore. Maybe second hand. And then the other one by Red Feather is like a work copy where it's one that I can actually shuffle this one. This one I find very, very difficult. Are they still potentially falling in that category? Yes, I would say so. So I will keep them in that category. Okay. Prompt number 3. I don't know why I feel like I'm out of breath and I'm trying to do a marathon here. I'm not. This is decks that you have multiple clones of. So the same art but different coloration. Are any of these your potential soul decks? Okay, so I have like 2 sets for this because Cara so kindly didn't make this just about tarot. You all know I'm a huge oracle lover. And so the clones, I picked 4. Now, I won't run through all of them. So my main system would be, or the one that I would have learned with and the one I'm most familiar with is the Rider-Waite-Smith. I think a lot of people fall under that category. And so I would have a lot of clone decks. Let's be honest, I think a lot of decks would be based on the Rider-Waite-Smith. So I have the Enchantress Tarot, which is very Rider-Waite-Smith clone, if we're being honest. I mean, it is very Rider-Waite-Smith. We can't really deny that. Very obvious Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay. And then I also have, I have other versions that I thought, especially for those of you that are watching, maybe want some ideas. I have the Luna Sol Tarot. Now, I just realized this is by Liminal 11. And I don't know, are Liminal 11 still doing decks? And can you still get this deck? So I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody actually knows, could you write it in the comments and let us know. I'm not sure. I suppose maybe you could get it maybe off Amazon if you want to shop there, or maybe your local bookshop or something might have it in stock. But I know this one has an extra card, the duality card, but other than that, it's pretty much, oh gosh, I'm all thumbs today. Another Rider-Waite-Smith clone. So I'm going to push these to the side. I'll have a big mess to clean up after. And then I also have the Modern Witch Tarot that I felt kind of falls nicely in this. I mean, there's so many wonderful, to be fair, wonderful clone decks out there. I mean, look, why is the Fool at the start of all my decks lately? But another one that's definitely Rider-Waite-Smith clone as well. Again, a lot of these decks I feel like everybody's going to be familiar with, so these are only quick glance. Jeez, I should put a warning at the start of this. Headphone users, don't, use your headphones. Your eardrums will be burst. And of course the Kawaii Tarot. So many of you ask me on Instagram when I do this for even collective messages, or if I share my page, what deck is this? It's the Kawaii Tarot. It's so ridiculously cute. I call it my little Squishmallow deck because it reminds me of my Squishmallows. Again, I would say very Rider-Waite-Smith clone. Very adorable, very cute. I can't not love this deck. I don't know, was it ever popular at one point? But I want to make it popular. I think it's so adorable, so stinking cute. And I'll always mention it. So, yeah, that is the Kawaii Tarot. And I do believe that this one is still in print. Okay, so they're my tarot decks that I'm like, okay, they're the ones that are kind of clones. Are these ones any potential soul decks? Personally, no. I look at them, maybe the Kawaii Tarot, but I don't think it's more a soul deck. I think it's more out of cuteness than anything else. So we can say no to those decks. I'm okay with saying no, except the Kawaii Tarot, but I don't think it's my soul deck. Okay. So then on to Oracle, and these are ones that are mainly very similar art styles. Now, I'm just making sure, yes, they're all by different artists, but they fall under the category of same art style. So, this is a new one, the Seeds of Light Oracle. I actually picked it up for my birthday. Now, before we judge, I'm just waiting to do a walkthrough of it, and then I'm so excited to use it. I haven't gotten a chance yet because, again, like I said, I want to do a walkthrough of it first before I start shuffling it up. And so as we can see, it's a very digital art style deck, very peoply. I personally don't really care for that term because I like people decks, and I like this very light and spiritual, that's not focusing, and what's the other word I'm looking for? Would be of the very spiritual. I don't want to say love and light because some of these cards aren't just love and light. They definitely touch upon, you know, topics or things that we need to have a look at. So again, I don't want to say woo woo, but they're definitely more of the spiritual side. It definitely leans more towards that. So my Circe Oracle is another one, as you can see, that is of very similar art style. That digital art, that very beautiful, immersive, real life, but fantasy, but dreamlike, ethereal, very chakra based as well. So I love all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that is the Circe. Again, I do feel like they all follow the same artwork style, right? And then of course we have Rebecca Campbell decks, and Danielle Noel would fall under this as well. So I'm actually going to talk about the Work Your Light, because this is by Danielle Noel, the artwork, and then Rebecca Campbell. So this would probably be the first deck that I fell in love with for this artwork, or this art style, I should say. And I love it. I really, really love it. I love the whole Lemurian feel to it. I love the kind of Atlantis feel, the Egyptian feel. It's very, yeah. Oh, well, what do you even call it? It's definitely that, I don't want to say just light worker, but a light work feel. I know a lot of people don't resonate with that, but I definitely like it. That it's definitely up my alley. I look at these decks and I'm like, yes, they resonate and they make sense to me. So, okay. Oh no, I made this very difficult for myself. And I just wanted to show one more. So I do apologize that this section of the tag is taking a little bit longer. So thank you for sticking around. Is the Healing Waters. And this artwork is by Katie Louise. So again, we can see that Rebecca Campbell decks tend to be my vibe. I think I actually have, I have all her decks. I really enjoy her decks. I really like the artwork. I really like the titles and the key phrases, and just certain things that she covers definitely resonate with me. I definitely connect with it. It makes a lot of sense to me. I like this as a water deck because I'm a Pisces, if you don't know, and I really connect with water, but I find it very hard to find decks that capture the essence of how I feel about water, and I feel like this would be pretty close. Selkie is coming up so much, but I just feel very connected to this and I like it. So yeah, so how am I going to pick which deck out of this? Okay, do you have multiple clones of? Okay, so are any of these a potential soul deck? That's a great question, and I think I'm going to pop this one aside, the Work Your Light, because this has a whole story behind it. So I'm going to pop this over with the potential decks. This, I love it, but no. Oh, but this too. Okay, we're going to pop it to the side because I do feel like that one. And I can't say yay or nay to this one because I haven't worked on it, but I wanted to add it anyway. Okay, this is going to be a billion years long, so I do apologize. So decks you have one copy of, but you want a second copy. And get real with yourself. Why don't you have a second copy? Is it a solid excuse? Are any of them a potential Soul deck. So I had to think about this one, and it's actually an oracle. And so the deck that I picked was the Sacred Rebels Oracle. And I know there's a pocket edition, and I've been kind of going back and forth whether I want to buy it or not. I'm not really sure yet. So for me, when I have this, that I'm like, I don't know whether I want to buy a second edition. Sometimes it could take me months before I go, okay, yeah, I'll buy it now. And that's okay. I don't feel like I need to rush anything because, you know, as long as it's not going out of print, hopefully it shouldn't be a problem. But this one is, this one has spoke very loudly between this, and there's a lot of nudity in this. I'm just going to leave it at these cards now because, boy, you kind of get the idea. I think you've seen this deck. But I just haven't clicked buy on it yet, and I'm not really sure why. I think it's because the writing is on the back of it, if I'm correct. So I'm slow on buying the pocket edition or the mini edition of it just yet. Doesn't mean I won't, but I could potentially buy it. But that could be years down the line, it could be months down the line. I never really know. So, is this a soul deck? No. I can already feel that it's not, so I'm going to say no. But it's definitely up there. But it's not a soul deck. Okay, so prompt number 5 is decks you have only one of, but is your everything everywhere deck? Is it your soul deck? Is it a potential soul deck? Of course. And this is the Green Witch Tarot. I know, I have never mentioned this on my channel before. It's quite new, I think, to a lot of you here. You wouldn't be familiar with it. It's not like I've shown it all that much, really, to be honest. And if you don't get my sense of humor, I'm really sorry. That was sarcasm. I've shown this a lot, especially if you're new. So I've shown this deck quite a lot. This is my everything, everywhere, any moment, all the time, my coming home deck. And now I struggle because is it a potential soul deck? 200%. But I wanted to do this properly, and I wanted to do the process of elimination. And this deck was a deck I resisted. Look at my little Page of Wands life. He's so adorable with his donkey. It's just, he's making magic and he's just living his best life. This is a deck I, for some reason, seen on so many channels way back when. And I was like, no, it's not for me. I'm not really bothered by it. Couldn't care less for it. I'll be honest, I could not care less for this deck. Anytime I seen it, I was like, nah, not for me. I wasn't really into that kind of, you know, pagan, witchy element. Well, no, the witchy, yeah, but not so much like Tree of Life, any of that, right? And like, I'm pure outdoorsy person. I love being outside, and I love sitting in the garden and just gardening and all that, right? But yeah, I'm like, no, this isn't for me. And then it went on sale. I got it for a really reasonable price at the time, and I think it was kind of the time we were all buying lots and lots of decks, right? I was like, okay, I'm just going to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be fine. It'll be grand. When I say off the bat, this read like incredibly well for me. I'm not even exaggerating. So, is it a potential soul deck, just to get down to the point? Yes, of course it is. We had to include it. Okay, so we're going to get on to our potential soul deck stack now. Okay, so we have our soul decks here. And I'm not sure where I even want to begin with some of these. There's a lot. Okay, so are you always up for a deep dive video or book on this deck? So yes, always, or yes, maybe later. So if it's a yes, always, we keep it. And if it's a yes, but maybe later, it's got to go. Okay, so, oh, goodness me. Okay, so for a deep dive and the book, no, that's just a no straight off the bat. Ooh, yes, and my Starman is here. I'm just going to use this one. Yes, And I want to say yes with a deep dive for this, but I'm kind of going no, not right now. So, okay. So we're down to 3. Okay, so which decks are left? So we have our Green Witch Tarot, our Light Series, and we also have the Starman Tarot. Okay, so go through each and explain why it's not your soul deck, what keeps it from being your soul deck, and if you can have a reason, if you have a reason, it's a no. Okay, and if you can't think of a reason, then it may be your soul deck. Okay. Okay, so I'm already going, that's definitely not a soul deck right now. not where we're at in this video. So I don't even have a reason. I love this deck. I will never stop loving this deck, but it's not my soul deck. These 2. Oh no, now I'm struggling. Okay, so go through each one and explain why it is not your soul deck. I think I already know what way this is going for me, because I already know realistically. I love the process of this and how I still was able to come back to the one deck. And I would honestly say both are actually, in their own way, a soul deck in one way or another. But as in, why this one isn't my soul deck? Are we even surprised? But why this one isn't my soul deck is because for me, for my soul deck, I can't really see myself in it as such either, right? I relate to the messages and the images, yes, but I don't see myself in it. And there's nothing wrong with this deck. I love it. It's definitely up there with some of my favorites. I love the wackiness and the weirdness, and it definitely... Oh, I'm talking fast, sorry. It helps me approach my weird side, the side that's very much myself, in a very comfortable way. But it's not my soul deck. This, I believe, will always seem to wheedle its way in this way, some way or another, for a soul deck. But why is it my soul deck? Okay, so now we've the one remaining deck. Which is it and why? Why? Because it evokes emotions in myself. Even looking at it and talking it here. And currently at the moment, life has just been lifing, as I said, right? And I've definitely found myself struggling in aspects and whatnot. Oh, Cara, you're making me cry. No, that's not your problem. That's not your fault at all. This deck has helped in many situations, and even now, even though I'm not working with it right now, but I know that if I ever need a deck to lean on to help, which I don't think you should, okay? You don't need to lean on decks to help you, but it's like, it's not a crutch, but it's definitely like a helping hand, a friend, right? I'm trying to be careful in how I phrase this, because I don't want anybody thinking you need to lean on tarot to help you. But sometimes we lean into, okay? There's a difference between leaning on and leaning into. Leaning into a deck that helps you navigate situations and different things. So for example, grief is a big thing, and something that I'm like trying to navigate right now, and you know, I'm trying to process in my brain. There's lots of things I don't really want to talk about it right now, just personally, because we all deal with grief differently, and sometimes we feel like we need to feel a certain way. This helps remind me that I don't have to, and that I can do it in my own way, and then many different things, right? But it really helps me come back to myself, and that's what a soul deck for me is as well. It's bringing me back to myself, who I am as a person, who I am as a whole, as my essence, not just a physical body, but as in a spiritual being, as in all the values and the things that I hold dearly to myself, not just in the physical realm, but also in the spiritual realm, the realm maybe that we cannot see, you know, the essence of everything. So this will always be a soul deck, and I'm not even surprised. I remember even when I was watching Cara's, I knew what deck was going to come up, if we're being honest, but I wanted to do the process because it was quite interesting to see what decks would pop up. And I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised at some of the decks that were able to show up here on this video at the same time. While they didn't make the cut, doesn't necessarily mean they aren't a soul deck. I do think they're soul decks in their own way, but this will always, I think, as they say in those romance videos or movies, that this will always have my heart. This will always be very, very special and very, very important to me. So thank you so much, Cara, for tagging me in this. I genuinely did not expect to feel all the emotions, but I did anyway. So thank you for tagging me. This was so fun. And if you've done the tag, let me know. Make sure you tag Cara so that she knows. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And remember, stay magical, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.